Bashu, my name is Holly Gualtieri. I'm currently a fifth-year concurrent education student here at the University of Windsor. I've spent several years working closely with young children in both school and childcare settings, and these experiences have shaped how I view teaching, learning, and student well-being. So a little bit more about me and some of my strengths as an educator are that I have over 5 years of hands-on experience working in Montessori and early learning environments, as well as completing multiple placements in schools and daycare settings. I place a strong emphasis on understanding the whole child, their emotions, their interests, and their individual learning needs, not just academic outcomes. I have a lot of patience and empathy. Working with young learners has taught me the importance of having a lot of patience and emotional awareness and building trust and supporting growth with the students. I'm flexible, I'm responsive, I'm comfortable adapting lessons and expectations in the moment to meet students where they're at, especially when unexpected challenges arise. That's something I've had to do a ton on when on placement. I'm a strong relationship builder. I value creating meaningful connections with students and their families to foster a safe, supportive, and welcoming classroom environment for everyone. I try and have a very inclusive mindset. I aim to ensure that all students feel represented, respected, and valued through inclusive language, materials, and teaching practices. And lastly, I try my very best to be a reflective learner. I regularly reflect on my experiences to identify strengths, areas for growth, and ways to improve my teaching practice. So my personal teaching philosophy is that I believe that effective teaching is rooted in relationships, flexibility, and respect for individual differences. Every child brings their own backgrounds, strengths, and ways of learning into the classroom, and it's my responsibility as a teacher to recognize and honor those differences. Education goes beyond academics. Supporting students' social and emotional development is just as important as teaching literacy or math. Skills like empathy, cooperation, and self-regulation are essential for long-term success, and classrooms should be spaces where students feel safe to make mistakes, ask questions, and to be themselves. An inclusive classroom is one where students feel a strong sense of belonging, where educators balance instruction with emotional support, and they are preparing students for not only school, but for life beyond it. My current understanding of Indigenous ways of knowing at this point, I would say, is still developing. Like many students, my early education did not provide in-depth or consistent learning opportunities related to Indigenous histories, cultures, or perspectives. Much of what I was taught felt surface level and disconnected. As a future educator in Ontario, I recognize that this lack of understanding is something that I need to actively address. I'm aware that feeling unsure or hesitant about terminology and perspectives can be a barrier, but I also understand that avoiding the topic altogether is not the answer. I see this course as an important opportunity to learn, reflect, and grow so that I can approach Indigenous content with greater respect, accuracy, and confidence. So some questions I have moving forward are, how can I meaningfully incorporate Indigenous ways of knowing into my classroom in a way that's respectful, accurate, and age appropriate? What steps can educators take to continue learning beyond the classroom and avoid treating Indigenous perspectives as a one-time topic? And lastly, how can I ensure that the resources and materials that I use genuinely reflect Indigenous voices and lived experiences? Thank you, everyone.